If you've spent the last few evenings scrolling through endless specs, watching YouTube after hours, and still feel that uneasy what-if about picking the right backup power, you're not alone. The moment a storm warning pops up or the neighborhood lights flicker, the decision suddenly feels a lot more urgent. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In this review, I'm going to walk through what it actually feels like to live with a whole house generator, where the real value hides, and exactly who should be hitting buy and who might want to keep looking. First, let's talk about the core problem a standby generator solves. When the grid drops, it's not just the TV that goes dark. Critical appliances, home office routers, medical devices, and even the refrigerator can stop working within minutes. For many homeowners, that moment turns into a logistical nightmare. Food spoils, kids lose the ability to charge tablets for school, and anyone relying on life support equipment is left exposed. The Generac Guardian 14 kW steps in as a set-and-forget solution, meaning it's designed to fire up automatically, feed power to every circuit in the house, and keep you running without you having to think about it. What makes the Guardian different from a portable generator you might keep in the garage is the integrated 100-amp transfer switch. That switch sits between the utility line and your breaker panel, essentially acting as a gatekeeper. When the grid disappears, the switch signals the generator to start, and once the generator is stable, it reroutes the entire house load through the unit. The whole process usually happens in under 10 seconds, so you barely notice the transition. In real life, that means you can stay on a Zoom call, keep the dishwasher running, and never have to manually plug in a generator or worry about overloading a single outlet. One of the features people actually notice once the unit is installed is the Wi-Fi monitoring. Generac's mobile app lets you see fuel level, runtime, and any fault codes from wherever you are: your phone, tablet, even a laptop at work. During a recent thunderstorm, I got a push notification that the generator had engaged, and I could watch the runtime clock tick up while I was still in my car, waiting for power to return. For anyone who feels a bit uneasy about a big piece of equipment kicking on in the middle of the night, that remote visibility is a genuine peace-of-mind upgrade, not just a marketing gimmick. Now, let's get into the practical side of owning a 14 kilowatts unit. The power rating is enough to cover a typical 3 to 4 bedroom home with central air, electric water heater, and a modest home office. I ran a quick calculation based on my own house: furnace, 4 kilowatts, refrigerator, 1 kilowatt, kitchen appliances, 2 kilowatts when cooking, and a couple of laptops plus a router, under 500 W. Even with the air conditioner on low, the total stayed well under 12 kilowatts, leaving a comfortable margin for occasional peaks like a dryer cycle. That margin is where the long-term assurance claim becomes tangible. You're not constantly flirting with the unit's limit, which reduces wear and the chance of the generator tripping on a sudden surge. Fuel flexibility is another practical consideration. The Guardian can run on either natural gas or liquid propane, depending on what's wired into your home. If you already have a natural gas line, you essentially get an endless fuel source, with the only ongoing cost being the utility bill for the gas itself. Propane, on the other hand, is stored on-site, so you're not dependent on an external supply line, handy if you live in a rural area where natural gas isn't available. The downside is that you'll need a professional to install a fuel tank and make the necessary connections, which adds to the upfront cost and requires regular tank refills if you go the propane route. Speaking of cost, the Guardian isn't cheap. Even before installation, the base price sits in the upper four-figure range, and most installers will quote an additional few $1,000s for permits, the transfer switch, and labor. That price tag can be a deal-breaker for folks who only need a generator to keep a few essential devices alive. If you're the type who just wants a backup for the fridge and a few lights, a smaller 7 kilowatts unit or even a high-capacity portable generator might make more sense financially. In contrast, if you've invested in a home office, have a medical device that can't lose power, or you live in an area where outages routinely last a day or more, the higher upfront spend can pay off in avoided spoilage, missed work, and, frankly, less stress. Installation is where many first-time buyers get surprised. Generac recommends that a certified electrician handle the transfer switch wiring, and a licensed contractor should do the fuel line hookup. The unit itself weighs over 2,000 pounds, so you'll need a crane or a very sturdy hoist to place it on its concrete pad. This isn't a DIY weekend project, and you'll have to factor in the time it takes to schedule professionals, get permits, and pass any local inspection. Once it's